I'm going to start again. So, oh my. Okay, this is why I don't do lives, because there's always something. So, good evening. I'm Dr. Karen Mikowski, aka Butterfly Karen. Welcome to this evening's live. I'm not quite sure what was happening. I literally just went live, and I was live here. And when I was looking at my other phone, I wasn't even live. So I'm not quite sure what is going on there. But I'm hoping anybody that comes in will just give me a sort of a wave, or just let me know you're online and you can see me, and you can see and hear me okay before I get started, because I really don't want to start this again. So, right, so I'm just going to sort of wait for people to come in and, you know, maybe give me a thumbs up if you can see me okay and hear me okay. That'd be great. Retrograde. What can you do? So I can see one person online right now, but I can't see what's going on here. I'm not going to. Okay, Rick, can you give me another shout out if you can see and hear me okay, like a thumbs up or something, just so I don't feel like I'm talking to myself. So, welcome, by the way. Sorry, continue. Okay, so I'm just going to wait for Rick just to give me a shout out, just to let me know you can hear me and see me okay. Okay, all right, fantastic. Okay, welcome back. That was very strange, but I'm not going to focus on it. So it's technology. Now, this evening, I'm going to be discussing 2 updates to 2 cases I've worked on. So before I get into the Anna Kobayashi case, the update to her sort of disappearance, I'm going to be literally going through the report and everything that I actually did send a link to the FBI tip line. Now, literally 3 days ago when I went live and I put the video up there, it was, let me just sort of see, log in here so I can sort of chat too. I'm going to try and multitask. But so basically, I put the video up and everything, and I went live with you people, as you know, and it was, you know, really getting some traction too. However, it got taken down. So I'm not quite sure if I said something that sort of hit certain algorithms, or basically YouTube's policies and all that kind of crap, right? So basically, I don't know what is going on with technology. I'm just staying away from it. So if I see you chatting here, I'll hit you up here, but I'm not going to focus on that phone right now. I'm not quite sure what's going on. So I don't know why it was taken down, but this is YouTube. This is why I'm really weird about social media and things like this. But I do only have this one platform. So that's just a big shout out to everybody right now. One YouTube channel, multiple playlists, obviously. And I don't have any other social media. I'm not on any of the social media platforms. So if you sort of see me there on my videos, they're pretty much stolen. And just basically used or whatever, other people just stealing it. But just here on my website, drkarenmikowski.com. Now, I do put a lot of my videos on my website too. So I'll be putting this in my media room page, the updates. So I'm going to do the first intuitive intelligence update to IIDR37, which I did pretty much in 9/11. It was for the 9/11 because it was a visual of what was supposed to be happening. I've already done an update video regards to the terrorist attack I was foreseeing, and the counterintelligence had already sort of intercepted what was sort of being foreseen for that particular day anyway. However, I was discussing a big, huge earthquake that was going to be taking place in California, but I just didn't know when. So, this morning, obviously I got the alerts and everything, and basically what happened was there was a huge earthquake this morning, magnitude of 7.3 earthquake in North California, and now they're pretty much under a tsunami warning, and apparently there's people evacuating. Oh, right. I'm monitoring that very carefully right now in California, because I have this horrible feeling this could be what I was sort of getting the intelligence on. that was foreseen. I'm kind of glad people are evacuating right now. And there's clearly a reason why people are evacuating now. The sort of state is urging people to sort of get away, especially from the coastline and things like this, because what I was seeing, I mean, if you want, I'll be putting the link to that video in this description box when I finished here anyway. But what I was seeing was just bizarre. It was really strange, and I urge anybody that right now in California, especially while this is happening, to really stay away from the beaches. I would say for the next sort of week or two, because obviously there's a tsunami warning. You do not want to be getting caught up on that coastline anyway. But it felt that what I was sort of seeing was like a crack in the whole ground all the way up the sort of coastline anyway. So that visual I was sort of seeing and everything, you'll be able to sort of, I really go into detail in that intuitive intelligence video. So it's sort of worth sort of watching it. And then, but right now I'm sort of monitoring California for that, because I don't know. I know a lot of things are going to start happening before the end of the year, big time, and everything's just like going tits up right now, isn't it? Everything's happening. So yeah, I'm just feeling like, because literally with the Earth's crust really active the way it is right now, I feel like there's going to be a lot more. But the fact that this is like 7.3, I mean, that's bad. I mean, but to be honest, I feel like there's so much going on underground, under Earth anyway. So, and I don't believe a lot of these normal natural earthquakes either, but you're gonna have to sort of watch some of my intuitive intelligence videos to understand sort of why that is and what I sort of deal with and connect to and things like this. And it's not always well, they're not always like a lot of it, in my opinion and my experience now, is a lot of it's like man-made. So there is a lot going on underground, and the reason I'm focusing on this is because if this is a deflection to get people away, there could be missions going on underground. So they may be using the earthquake as a just sort of under the guise of an earthquake. But I'm focusing on, and I'm watching, monitoring, especially in the ether, on the etheric realms with the highest order, because I feel like we're soon going to hear about recovering of the 20,000 children. And I do believe they're all underground. And I've been going, if you watch my last few intuitive intelligence videos, I'm doing a lot of discussions on underground. There's a lot going on underground beneath our feet. So I feel like there's a lot of cover stuff going on. So I'm focusing on that. But again, you still don't want to be, if there is a major earthquake, and I do feel like a major earthquake's going to cause some major destruction in California anyway, but you still want to be away. You want to be in safe zone anyway, in a higher level, higher ground too, because I'm not being funny, but you don't want a tsunami. If a tsunami comes in, oh my God, for the love of God, no. Just, if you're being told to leave and evacuate, I would do it. Your house can be replaced, everything can be replaced, but your lives can't. So I am literally monitoring California carefully right now for multiple reasons, not just for the literal earthquake that's going on, the tsunami warning, but also because I feel like there's a lot more going on that we're not, a lot more going on that's just a little bit missions. So, and again, I'm keeping my ear to the ground, literally, because I'm hoping that by the end of the year, we are literally going to hear about over 20,000 children, missing children, coming to the surface and found. So that is, I'm keeping my fingers crossed for that. Now, speaking of missing people and missing children, December the 2nd, 2024, when I went live, I was remote viewing, connecting to Hannah Kobayashi's energy frequency. And that's kind of what I do when I'm remote viewing, and I'm looking, trying to find missing people. But I was also connected to her father's energy too. That was really sad. Now, just want to quickly look at so there was a real focus, right? I was right about, the good thing is she's alive, right? voluntarily missing now. She's gone on her own accord. I kind of had a feeling she'd gone on her own accord anyway, and I kind of did mention that in the video. But I can't, because I feel like, and I knew it as well, I knew there was a high, I was emphasizing on the fact that she'd met somebody online. And the whole sort of leaving Hawaii and going to New York, I do believe the New York trip was a front. So, like, the sort of circumstances, you know, because I believe it was her ex-boyfriend, did sort of pay for that trip, and you know, couldn't be refunded. But I feel like she used that as a front to sort of get into the, you know, into Los Angeles, and then pretty much she'd already, without a doubt, this is well and truly planned. Whatever, you know, the fact that she was leaving. Now, I was right that she was still alive and she was on the 3D, because when I was connecting to her energy frequency, she was still on 3D. Now, when I talk about 3D and 5D, when I'm connecting to missing people, if I know for a fact if they're on 5D, that means they've passed over. If I'm talking like they're on 3D, those people are still alive. So, and that's why I was kind of connected to her, and I was feeling like she was moving around, and obviously she was, literally. But the thing is, I was seeing a lot of, I was seeing this, like Route 60 West, and then Joshua Tree, and then Frets, and then motel rooms. Now, I've got to be very careful as well, because usually when I'm connecting to missing people, that and I'm literally on the ether, and I'm, you know, connecting to certain types of energy frequencies, that does not mean there's not going to be an interception coming in. So now it's kind of starting to look like there was probably another missing person who was intercepted my sort of remote viewing session anyway. And I feel like that, and that's why there was a weird trafficking, human trafficking sort of feel to what was going on. And that was that's why I was really worried about her. But I kind of knew she was alive as well. So it's starting to feel like I was connecting to literally two different energies, like two missing people. So now that I know she's alive, and I was right that she was moving around, obviously. The emphasis now I'm going to be focusing on is Joshua Tree, Route 60 West, and these sort of motels that I was discussing in the video. I feel like there's a different victim. So I'm going to put a completely different report together for the FBI, but I'm also going to reconnect. I'm going to try and reconnect to that energy frequency too. So that can happen. I tend to forget that can happen too when I'm sort of zoned out and I'm like remote viewing and things like this. It's obvious I always get interceptions anyway. But the good thing right now is she is alive and she has headed into Mexico. And there was obviously, let me just see what's going on here, because, and yeah, I knew she met someone online. I knew there was a real strong focus on the fact that there was an online, like she met somebody online. And that's probably who she went to meet, who she was planning on meeting. Now, I'm not quite sure. There's a lot of information coming out right now, but I'm not sure she met this person in Los Angeles or was meeting this man and I don't feel like it was a man anyway, in Mexico. This young woman is going to be very careful, right? I've traveled the world and I've been in the Middle East for 3 years and stuff like that. I've done a lot of crazy shit, right? And I've been to some really strange, crazy places. But there's no way I took my little ass into Mexico right now on my own, like that, across the border. If I was going to go to Mexico, it would be through, there would be transfers and everything. It would be done properly, but there's absolutely no way I would be, and I'm brave. I don't care. I always travel alone. I'm a solo female traveler, but I'm a lot older than her, and this world is not safe right now. But I would not be going to that Mexican border alone. No way, with my suitcase. I don't think so. That is, unless she's meeting somebody, she's got to be meeting somebody across that border, because common sense would tell any young woman, and we all know if you sort of look at the, you really monitoring the sort of like embassies and the Home Office and things like that, where you traveling alerts and things like this with the government, you know Mexico is not a safe place most American travelers anyway. So because especially on the borders, you got like major cartels and good Lord, right? So you could be very careful. And the fact that she's thought it was okay to just go there alone, no, there's more going on. So I feel like she's met somebody and she's meeting them across the border. That is still incredibly worrisome because, again, I felt like she'd met somebody online, and now there's intel coming out that apparently there was a secret marriage. Well, we need to wait for a lot of information to come out to confirm that, because obviously there's an investigation going on. But if that's the case, and there's all sorts of weird shit coming out right now with like green card immigration fraud and everything. So, but then when she sort of first went missing, she was sending a lot of text messages. So she was at one point in touch with her family, discussing weird, she's like, she felt like she just lost lots of money and ID fraud and everything. If you were to look at the report, if you just sort of go back and sort of look at the timeline of when she went missing, that is all just real weird, nonsensical stuff. Like, none of it's making sense, but it's a good way to throw people off. And now, when she's trying to throw her family off, that obviously worked because it caused the family to report her missing. But the fact that she knew exactly what she was doing, she clearly planned it. Because the one thing that sort of disturbed me was the report and the video visual of her crossing the border in Mexico, happy and smiling after her father has committed suicide from looking for her. That's not normal behavior. Now, this is where I'm just going to put my stance on this, because this is a little bit disturbing. You've got to be the timeline, right? The timeline's everything. So I don't care. This is how I feel, especially when I'm connecting to her energy frequency. She definitely planned it. She used the New York City trip as basically a front to, guys to hide behind. And she definitely met somebody online. I know that for a fact now. That's obvious. That's coming. That's shit. So I was definitely right about that. And that's exactly what I was feeling and seeing and everything. But the timeline is a bit disturbing in my stance, because it's like, well, you've left your family, you're going to meet somebody. There's now, like I said, they're not apparent weird secret marriage. So, and yet she's gone into Mexico, happy, smiling. Now her father went looking for her, obviously, and on the 24th of November, he apparently committed suicide. That is disturbing, because this woman has been traveling since that date, and I don't care. We all have technology, right? There's no way she's not monitoring the news. And to know that your father's apparently committed suicide, and you're still traveling into Mexico, I want to know what's wrong with that family. That is not a fully functional family unit at all, because her family's trying to contact her, and she's giving them misleading information, obviously, because none of it's making sense. They're worried about her, obviously. Then this tragedy happens to her father, and she hasn't made contact at all with any of her family members in that timeline, right? To say, oh my God, I can't believe what's happened to my father. And secondly, but then when she is finally seen, she's crossing the Mexican border, happy and smiling. What is wrong with that young woman? Knowing your father's passed away. Actually, what is wrong with society now sending Venmo payments to her, apparently, right? Telling her to enjoy your life and have a great time and all this kind of stuff, right? First of all, how would they know where to send Venmo payments to her? Do they have her phone number? Do they have her? That's why that needs to be sort of like, we'll find out if that's true or not. But if that's the case, why are people not sending money to her family to help with the funeral? Why are they focusing on a woman that's voluntarily just totted off to start a new life? Why are they not focusing on the fact that this poor man went looking for his daughter, and it was so tragic but he ended up apparently killing him, like committing suicide. And everybody seems to have forgotten about that. I have not forgotten about that, because when I was connected to his energy frequency, literally 3 days ago, the shame, there was so much shame. And obviously there's no shame on her part at all. That woman is feeling no shame at all. Because the actions right now, her actions are showing no shame in any shape or form. Now I know for a fact the shame I was feeling was coming from her father. And I'm still convinced he received something. And I did say in that video, I feel like he received some sort of information that pushed him over the edge. Now, I'm intrigued to know what sort of communication he was getting, whether it could have been from her. We don't know what that family unit was dealing with prior to her just wanting to leave and start a new life, obviously. But the whole, everything that's playing out right now is not normal. This is not normal human behavior to be showing no grief or anything, and to not be contacting your family. Literally, it's now the 5th of December, and they're getting all their information from the FBI and the LAPD, right? Not from her. I just find it incredibly bizarre behavior. It's not normal. So I get it. No family is perfect at all. There's no, in my personal opinion, and that's just the way it is, I don't think for a second there's any such thing as a perfect family at all. There's always something going on, and there's a reason why people want to leave. Now, what I'm feeling now is the fact that she's probably, there could have been a lot of stuff. We don't know what is going on with her family, and to be perfectly honest, I don't really want to energetically intrude either, because that's just personal and private. But obviously there's a lot of stuff's going to come out, but there's clearly something going on for her to think, well, I want to start a new life, and to be online trying to meet somebody too, to start a new life with. And you know, to be honest, I still feel like she's been sort of, I still feel like she probably got catfished. But whether and it's weird as well, because she did send weird messages telling her father, her family, that she's like lost all her money or something, like her money is being, and apparently by somebody she thought she loved. Well, that's got to be the man she met online then. So, and that's clearly, so she may have probably been scammed, but the fact is, if you know you've possibly been scammed, and you're possibly losing money to somebody, you're giving money away, what you need to be doing at that point is, that's a major red flag. Like if this is happening in the early timeline too, like, oh my God, this guy I met online, I fell in love with, blah, 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 that apparently there's a possible secret, you know, we need that verified, obviously. But if this is what's happening, you'll be asking yourself, well, if this man's taking the money and I feel like I've been scammed, why are you not staying in the airport, going back to the airport and flying back home? Why continue the journey? So there's a lot of questions. There's a lot of like unanswered questions. This is a really strange case. I don't want to give it too much credence or focus on it either, because the media is going crazy, and that happens with certain mainstream cases when it comes to this kind of stuff. And it bothers me as a parapsychological investigator, because I deal with real victims, and then you've got these victims, these so-called victims, and she's not one of the first. Now, there's a lot of like victims who purposely go missing, and then they gain this mainstream exposure. Money is made. People are donating money left, right, and center, right? And they're not even properly missing. So the real victims, there's families out there looking for the real victims, missing victims, and that's what bothers me. So this kind of stuff it's annoying, and just sort of watching the sort of people online, you know, there's again the fact that everybody suddenly forgot about her father, literally less than 2 weeks ago, or is it like just over 2 weeks maybe, but 24th of November is when he apparently committed suicide. So that's pretty disturbing. Now let me have a look, so again, I would be more focused on, oh my God, I'm so sorry about your father. I'm going to continue. Apparently the GoFundMe is still active. Why are people sending money to the GoFund looking for her when she's already been found? I don't understand this weird scenario where people just feel like they need to throw money at stuff like this when there's no real need to now. There's no more. If anything, if you're going to donate money to this, do it for her father's funeral. It's weird, very weird behavior going on right now in society. So, it's weird. But I guess the one question I would want to, if I was the investigator on that case, is I'd be wanting one question. Why didn't you call anybody after you heard about your father's passing? There is no way she sat on a coach and not heard. There's people on that coach around her, probably on the, like, oh my God, this woman's still missing. Oh my God, right? Oh my God, this poor woman's father's like apparently committed suicide. That's what happens every day, right? And the fact that she sat on a coach, there's no way she's not checking out the internet, right? Like, oh God, how much exposure am I getting now? To be honest, I know there's probably issues going on, but this is weird narcissistic behavior. I don't like this, and it's starting to happen a lot. There's a lot of, I don't know why, but it seems to be happening a lot with women, like this incessive need for certain types of women to need the attention that bad that they're actually faking their own, I'm not saying she has, but faking their own disappearances and abductions and everything. It's weird, right? So, and that's just attention, serious. I don't know what's going on with that, but I'm not sure. I'm not saying this is what she's doing, but the fact that she knows her father's passed away. She knows people are looking for it. She knows the whole freaking world is monitoring her movements. Like, where is she? Where's this young woman? Where's Hannah? Well, she knows where she is. She sat on a coach heading to Mexico. Why can't it just takes this? Oh my God, hey family, I'm so sorry. I just can't do this anymore. I can't be around you people anymore, especially if there's dysfunctional family, right? I just need to get away. That's all. And I can't believe, I don't even know what to say about what's happened to my father, right? Nothing like that. My God, if I went missing, let's just say, for example, this scenario was me, right? And my father came looking, well, he passed away earlier this year anyway, but my father came looking for me. And then he was so devastated, but there's still more to that anyway. And then he apparently committed suicide. I would not even be able, I would absolutely be out. I'd just be, that would be it. There's no words to express. I'd be trying to, I wouldn't be able to stop apologizing to my family. I can't, but no, it doesn't feel like any of that's going on right now. So it's weird that I was feeling real major shame and tears from him, from my father, 3 days ago, seriously, when I was connected. And now looking at the bigger picture, there is no shame on her side at all, and that's really sad. And if there is, she's clearly so ashamed to the point where she can't even face anyone. And at some point, she's going to have to face the reality, and she's going to have to face people in the future at some point anyway, whether it's a family or not. But she still needs to just really just make, reach out to her family and say, look, I'm okay. But right now, she's got to be careful in Mexico. I don't care who she's meeting. It's just weird. That's one dodgy place right now. It's not a safe place to go. If you understand what's happening in Mexico, a lot of US tourists are going missing and getting murdered there and everything. So it's not really a safe zone. Now, if you're going to go to like Cancun and places like that, you have to go for the proper package deals and things like this and do it safely and properly. But you still got to be vigilant. You still got to sort of watch, your surroundings and everything. You don't just like walk in. Oh God, no. Because then I can travel anywhere. It doesn't bother me. But I would not be going. That is one place I would not be crossing the border in that country right now. It is not safe. So whoever she's meeting, on that side, she clearly is trusting them enough, but this whole situation and scenario and these weird text messages, right down to like deep state. I mean, seriously, what in God's name is all that about? The deep states deleting my whole identity. I mean, if you really wanted to throw people off, what a great way to do it. I mean, that's just like a wild imagination, that. Deep state, and none of that's even happened. Deep state identity, removing my identity. I've lost all my money. I mean, those text messages were weird, right? But not one of them was true. And if any of them are true, it's probably the person she was meeting that she probably met online in the first place, probably scammed her, or still trying to. But I don't know what is going on with the whole. There's a lot of, like I said, there's a lot of information coming out regards to a so-called secret marriage and everything. So obviously, her family did not know her as well as they all believed they did, you know. And if they did know there was a secret marriage, right? Well, they're going to have to reveal that to the investigators, because there's a lot of sort of time and resources gone into looking for this woman, and she wasn't even missing. She was voluntarily, she left on her, you know, her own volition, which I kind of knew as well, and I felt that. Like I say, when I was connected to her frequency days ago, I'm like, I feel like this woman's just gone on her own accord. But my other, now, ironically, again, because I feel like there was an interception of a real victim that's probably being trafficked right now, I got to refocus my energy back to that victim, who, by the looks of it, is being held by, I believe it was like 2 or 3 men in these motel rooms, being moved around across California. And there was like, and this real victim was getting threats in Joshua Tree and Route 60 West. So that I'm going to put a separate report together and focus on sex trafficking and human trafficking. You know, Joshua Tree, that sort of area of California, might need to be looked at for missing victims and things like this. So it wasn't a complete waste, if you know what I mean. It was just like, it was just really sad, because it was me getting so worried about her when I didn't really need to be worried about her at all. When there was an interception of another energy coming through, like, hey, help me too. It's really sad. And now the focus has been on this woman. It's just, it's weird as well. This is why I don't really like focusing on mainstream missing persons cases at all. Because like I said, the internet goes wild. Now, if you was to watch my Jay Slater case, when I did my interactive remote viewing session on his disappearance, good Lord, earlier in the year, that was crazy, because I was right. Every single thing I'd felt, seen, heard, and everything, when I was visually seeing him, found in the ravine. I knew he fell in the ravine and everything. And then watching the internet go completely off the charts, right, with major conspiracy theories. But unfortunately, those are the sort of people online that really just use mainstream cases to make money, right? So that's how wild the internet can go when it comes to focusing only on mainstream missing persons. That's why I work on cases that nobody's even like looking at. So, but this one, I guess because there was a weird pull, that's the only reason it said, and it was starting to warrant an investigation. But I'm kind of disappointed, because, like I say, the energy was on her and her father, but then it just feels like there was a real victim who was missing and probably being moved around as we speak, as I was investigating, that really did need help, that was being trafficked. It's just sad. So I know, but look, we all go through stuff in life. Nobody's perfect. It's a human experience. We go through crazy stuff. We go through traumas. We go through all sorts of weird shit. But if you've been literally registered as a missing person, and you know you're not even missing, like you've totted off yourself, you make contact with somebody and go, please don't waste any more resources. Please don't try. It's okay. I'm okay. That's all it would have taken, a phone call. But there's something very wrong with these young generation today. They are so absolutely selfish and self-absorbed. And it shows. It really shows. It's really sad. But that is the truth. And nobody wants to sort of focus on that truth. But again, because of that behavior, other people start following suit, and then they start realizing, oh my God, I can make loads of money on like GoFundMe and everything, right? Now it becomes a monetary scam. That's how it becomes. People are donating money because they're so genuinely worried. And then it's because I work on cold cases and I work on missing persons cases, this kind of annoys me. It hurts my heart, because there are, like I say, there are real victims out there that we just can't, desperately trying to find, and nobody's even caring about them or looking at them. They're just looking at, oh, the media wants you to focus on these people this week. They're just, mainstream media pisses me off. Can't stand it. Every single missing person should get the exact same exposure. But no, that's not how that works. And that's what really annoys me. So that's pretty much the update. Now I know there's going to be a lot more coming out over the coming weeks of Hannah, and I'm sure in the coming months we're going to get to understand why she really sort of left and all that kind of stuff. And it's okay to leave. It's okay to, start a new life. Absolutely. I've done it myself a few times, right? It's great. But that doesn't mean I withhold. I'm not secretive and I don't lie. I just tell people what I'm doing and where I'm going. And again, as a solo female traveler, ladies, you got to be careful. You've got to make sure you tell people where you're going. I travel all the time on my own, but I leave. I'm everything is documented, right? So it's weird. We do not live in a very safe world right now. And I'm kind of glad in some ways that I did all of my international traveling back in my 20s and 30s when it was a lot safer. But if you're going to be a solo female traveler, you've got to keep your wits about you. You've got to be very careful. You can't just be interacting with like every Tom, Dick and Harry thinking these people, they're really cool. I feel like, no, I'm not that trusting. Oh, no. I've seen too much. I've experienced too much. And it's easy to get kidnapped. Like, I'll give you an example. When I was in Iraq, I was up in Sulaymaniyah, and then I was up in Duhok. I was working in Duhok. And I grabbed a taxi, right? And you've got to remember, Iraq's a little bit different. But I'm telling you right now, this country is not safe for crazy sociopaths and psychopaths at all, right? I actually felt safer in Iraq than I do here sometimes, especially here in Phoenix in Arizona. It's just weird. But I was traveling from Duhok, and I didn't realize, like, when you order a taxi in Iraq, right, put it up in Kurdistan, that you end up sharing it. I did not know that. Thank God I was packing. But I got this taxi, and I'm driving to Erbil. I'm like from Duhok to Erbil, and the taxi driver suddenly stopped the car and was letting these other men in. I'm like, whoa, in the back. I'm like, what's going on? Immediately, like, hyper alert. And I said to the taxi driver, what's going on? He went, oh, yeah, we share the taxis here. Right. Immediately, I knew this can turn bad. I'm alone, single female, in Iraq, right, in Kurdistan. And that's bad anyway. You shouldn't be doing that. But I was packing. And then we're driving to Erbil. It was the most uncomfortable 4-hour drive I've ever had in my life. I actually thought I was going to get kidnapped. And they were trying to take me to Baghdad, to divert Baghdad, instead of going where, and I was obviously the first in the taxi, so I want to go where I want to go first. He was trying to convince me to go into Iraq, into Baghdad, and drop these men off first. I'm like, I don't think so. No, this taxi was mine first, and I'm not going into Baghdad. I'm going into Erbil. So, and these men were not happy because they got a Western woman, right, putting her freaking foot down, going, no, I don't think so. But the point I'm trying to make is, I knew I could have, well, I probably was, but I don't know what it was about my assertiveness, I went to full-blown soldier mode anyway, but I was, I thought, well, I can get kidnapped here, and I can probably get put in a freaking orange jumpsuit and be spread all over the internet, right? And head chopped off and everything, because that's the kind of shit that was happening back then. So that's how easily and quick these sort of things can happen. But I was quite strong and assertive, and I made it clear, you're taking me to a bill. Because either way, I would have gone out, had the worst thing happened, I would have gone down fighting. I would have shot a lot of people too, right? I would have shot them all, right? Because it was a major lesson learned that it doesn't matter where you go or where you think it's safe, it's not always safe. And you don't know who you're going to cross paths with or anything. So I thankfully, I did get dropped off, but they were not happy. The fact that I'm not even Iraqi, and I'm like telling them, no, I'm going there first. They did not like being told what to do by a woman anyway. So, but yeah, I had to be that strong because I felt like if I don't, I'm going to be in trouble. If they try and take me into Baghdad, I'm not leaving Baghdad. Thankfully, I had my United Nations card on me. So it was like, I told them, I said, well, I can't go into Baghdad because I don't have my UN badge and I don't have my cat card and things like that. So I had to sort of make up an excuse why I couldn't go into Baghdad first. I won't get through the checkpoints. I knew I could, but I'm not going to tell them that. So I thought, well, if anything's going to happen to me, it's going to be on this road. And it's going to end on this road as well, either way. But again, you've got to be so careful because that was the extreme of what could have happened in a very extreme country. So, but here in the United States and in places like Mexico, they're not that safe at all. I'm not quite sure why people have this real illusion of, well, it's a free country, it's a beautiful country. It really is, but it's not safe. You've got to be careful, you've got to keep your wits about you. So, yeah, I just feel like I think people are just a bit too trusting right now. Until human behavior starts changing for the better, you've got to be very careful. And especially as a woman, you've got to be careful, ladies. And especially if you're traveling alone, you've got to be careful. And then let people know where you are. Let people know. Let your loved ones know where you're going, where you're expecting to be. You don't do this. This is not good. Regardless of what you've experienced back home to make you leave anyway, don't be becoming either a statistic or put on the board of missing persons, right? If you know you're not missing, you let somebody know you're okay. It's that simple. And the amount of resources and money that goes into looking for people these days, when the real victims who genuinely are missing, they're the ones that need the resources. So that's just how I feel about that. That's my stance on it. So, but I think that's we'll leave that there. That was like CCMP68. That's the update to Anna Kobayashi. And, but I'm glad she's alive. I'm glad she's safe. Well, up to now she's safe. Well, she's alive, but I still feel like she needs to make some sort of contact with somebody just so we know she is safe as well. Even though she's been found, we still need to make sure she's safe. So, but that's up to her to be a responsible adult too, to just let people know, hey, I'm okay, I'm reaching out, I'm okay. I'm sorry everything's gone tits up and everyone is, looking for me, but I'm okay now. Again, this silence, that's not normal. That's just off the charts anyway. So, especially when now, the whole world knows you've gone into Mexico and you're actually alive. People are not going to start looking at this woman in a good light. The longer she continues to stay silent, the public will turn on her, because that's what happens. And that's really sad. And I don't really want that to happen to her either. But all it takes is just communication, basic communication. Simple phone call right now, even to the FBI. Okay, right. This is where I am right now. So just so you know, as a citizen, US citizen, this is where I am. Mind blowing. But now, yeah, and now, like I say, I'm going to have to focus on the other energy now that intercepted. So now I've got to really figure out who this other young woman was that has clearly gone missing pretty much around about the same time. And it's so weird as well. Sad. Because like I say, I put the focus here. Because the other energy I was clearly being intercepted by, there was a I felt like there was choking going on. I could have been dealing with a cold case at that point. But there was like heavily under the influence of sedative form of drugs. this person's vision was blurred, and there's me thinking this is this young woman, and it wasn't even her at all, right? But now I'm kind of upset in that way, because I could have put the full focus on, and especially because I was remote viewing, like I was seeing, like, you know, Route 60 West, and right, Joshua Tree was so clear. So I mean, it's now I'm just feeling like this might become a cold case, or that I feel like this one's not going to end well. Not Anna's, this other energy. It's really sad. So yeah, I'm going to leave that there. Is there anybody that would like to ask any questions? Let me see what's going on here. So yeah. Okay. If you'd like to just reach out, if you want to say anything or whatever, I don't know if you're watching this case clearly, I don't know if you feel the same way. I mean, I'm assertive, I'm honest, I'm a true speaker, so I don't sugarcoat these realities. Again, we all go through stuff, we all experience all kinds of stuff. No family is perfect, life isn't perfect, but at some point you've got to just be a little bit more of a grown-ass adult, you know what I mean? And when especially when you're like 30 or 31, you know better. So, and like I say, it's okay to be dealing with something and going through something, but just let one person know you're okay. Just one person. So I can't sugarcoat truth and stuff like that. Not because when I work on like cold cases and things like that, and I have to deal with a victim's last memory and stuff like that. No. And tomorrow I'm going live, and I'm going to be doing an interactive remote viewing session on another missing person. And I really feel like I need to rezone. I feel like I'm going to have to tomorrow. I wanted to focus on a young woman that went missing in Alaska. I'm going to put her to next week's now. What I want to do tomorrow is refocus on this other energy. Because if this other energy is still alive, and again, it's like, thankfully it was only 3 days ago, I can get more in intelligence and information, but I'm just hoping, that's who I'm going to be connecting to tomorrow, so you can sort of come and watch me live. And hopefully YouTube, I have to be careful what I'm saying too, because I don't know what I'm saying that YouTube isn't liking. So, I don't know what sort of like little words that, but I don't feel like I was saying anything weird enough to, I really don't know what happened. But then again, I literally had my live scheduled for 7 p.m. and it didn't even go live. I had to pretty much close that one out and just manually go live. So that clearly didn't work either. So it's probably just technology more than anything. Which kind of sucks. Right? So that's where we're at with this one. CCMP. Now, like I said, I am going to be watching very carefully in California. Oh yeah. Again, I don't want to kind of reiterate the whole thing again, but I feel like even though there's a tsunami warning going on and the earthquake, I personally feel like there's a lot more going on underground. Right? So, but to understand what I'm talking about, you'd have to, watch my videos, my intuitive intelligence videos. So does anybody have any questions? Does anybody want to have a little chat while I'm here before I log off? Now, again, for the month of December, if you do have a missing loved one or, a cold case or anything like that, and cold cases go cold for a reason, but you can reach out to me at drkaramikowski.com. I'll put all the information in the description box below. You can reach out to me. I can add you to my missing persons case, our cold case. And again, you'll be over December, you're going to be watching me interactively remote viewing, doing what I do, how I work on missing person cold cases. So if you do know of anybody that's missing a loved one, again, you can reach out to me and just I'll add them to the caseload. And again, all I really do require is just the basic information, not too much, because I don't need too much. I just need, obviously, the photo. Just the basic information of the missing person case or the cold case itself. And just the contact information for the detective or the liaison officer or the investigator on the case. And that way, once I get the report done, I can send that directly to them. Now, that's up to them to use their resources to sort of look at the information report and the investigation report and think, okay, well, interesting. Right. But they might go, no, okay. They might not want to waste their resources, but that doesn't mean I can't do what I do. And if it is a cold case, like if you already know a loved one's already well and truly passed over, but you can't find them, or there's no justice, there's no closure, because the perpetrator apparently is still active. Well, I'm going to be seeing that victim's last memory. So that's when I'm probably going to get a lot more. Remember, we are energy. Energy doesn't die. It moves to a different dimension, right? And I'm not here to infringe your beliefs, but when I'm connecting to an energy frequency, it doesn't matter whether the person is alive here in 3D or passed over on 4 or 5D. So once I connect to the energy frequency, that's what I'm connecting to. And if it is a cold case, I'm going to see that energy as last memory. If the person's missing, like with this situation, I was literally, because I was focused on Hannah's energy frequency, I knew she was moving around. That's why I knew she was still alive. If she'd passed over in 5D, I would have seen or getting information on her last memory. Hopefully, worst case scenario, where she is, where she can be retrieved, that sort of thing. So, but again, I had a interception, and it's just weird. So, if you do need any help with the case, you can reach out to me. See, is there anything? Nobody wants to say hi or anything. Nobody wants to chit chat. That's fine. Right, but yes, so now any other cases that I've worked on, or even intuitive intelligence cases or anything like that, any developments, I'll just be going live and doing sort of live updates and things like this. But yeah, I mean, like I said, I did actually. Well, the report's still here, but it's nonsensical now. Not for. This is going to become a case for somebody else. But the good thing is, right now she's alive and everything, so she's alive and well, and hopefully starting a new life. But I don't think there's anything else to discuss regards to this case. And like I said, I've been watching sort of California very carefully over I'm feeling like when I was sort of connected to what was going on, I'm thinking, oh God, why do I feel like the next week or two is going to be in that area in California? So, and especially this morning when I said I got the hit, and I'm like, oh, please tell me this is not the earthquake that I already foreseen. And the fact that it was magnitude was high as well. So I thought, okay, well, this could be the start of it, or this could be it. But I don't know, because I feel like there's a secondary mission going on. Could just be, they could be using it as a distraction too. So either way, I'm only really focusing. I mean, I want everybody to be safe and well, and I want everybody to sort of take precautions, but I'm also hoping, again, in the next 2 weeks, it's got something to do with over 20,000 children, missing children. And I'd love for that to come to pass. Because I got that nearly a month ago now, last month, the intel for that twice. So that would be great to hear by the end of the year, by the end of 2024, that we've at least found over 20,000 children, missing children. I mean, that would be an amazing way to end this absolutely whacked out year, 2024. Carmageddon, I'm telling you. So, since nobody wants to have a little chat or anything like that, I am going to say goodnight, and I will see you all again tomorrow. If you want to join me tomorrow, that'd be great. If not, you can just look out for my intuitive intelligence videos. I've got intel coming through, so the higher order is like screaming at me. So hopefully the next few days, I'll probably be doing an intuitive intelligence video too. I may actually connect to the higher order tomorrow. I'm going to connect to that energy again, but I may connect to the higher order tomorrow while I'm live. They may actually be able to help me connect me back to the one that was intersecting. But the only reason is because I'm feeling like there's a lot coming through regards to California. So there's a real there's a real focus on me keeping an eye on that. So there could be more coming through. Yeah, I'm probably going to be connecting to the higher order as well. So even though it's going to be a CCMP case, it's probably going to be an IIDR case too. So that's going to be a weird double whammy. I'm going to be zoned out a lot. So like I say, before I start the zone out and I start connecting to the higher order or to the energy, I have a little chat if anybody wants to ahead. And then once I'm zoned out, I'm not going to be able to be interacting at all. And then obviously once I come out of it, that's this reality, I'll sort of discuss my findings, and if anybody wants to have a chat at that point, we can do that too. So if you need to learn a little bit more about me, you can go to my website, drmakowski.com. It takes nearly 45 minutes for me to explain to people what I do. Right? So it's just easy for me to divert people there. And I'm not normal, thank God. I'm an absolute authentic weirdo. I own it. Do that. And I do what I do and I love it. It's who I am. It's what I do. And that's what I've always done. So there's plenty. I mean, I have different playlists too. Like I have paranormal investigations, parapsychological investigations. I have like table chats. And then I have stuff like spiritual counseling. And I always discuss my experiences and things like this. Like I don't have a problem discussing some of the stuff I've been through in life because it can help a lot of people. A lot of people sort of, maybe not been through exactly the same thing as me, but I've been through a lot. I do not look like what I've been through at all. So, but that's what I'm saying. We all go through traumas and everything. We all go through some of the most horrific shit, but it's up to you to own your life and take control of it. So, so there's so many different ways that I can sort of help people with what they resonate with too, what they've probably been through some, similar stuff. But yeah, excuse me. So for those who popped in and had a little view on what was going on, welcome. If you do like my videos and all that beautiful stuff, you can give me a like, and if you're not subscribed, and I do want to say a big thank you to my new subscribers. Oh my Lord, we are growing. Well, I did say next year I'm going viral anyway, so I kind of knew. I already foresaw that coming. So it's clearly happening. It's starting, which is fantastic. But yes, so this is December. This is me giving back to the people, and say that's what I do. Now, I don't think there's anything else to cover. I mean, if you want to go to my website, I do have a media room page on my website. You can buy my books there. Like I said, Silent Storm is it's going to go big next year anyway. But you can get it in hardback, softback, or Kindle right now. And you can go just when you go to my website, you can go again to the media room page. You can buy my books directly from there, order them. The energy tour is going to be active next year, so I'm going to be moving around, and I'm probably going to be doing, when I hit the energy tour again, I'm going to be doing book signing events on my energy tour as I go along. So I'm not going to know where I'm going until I start hitting the road again. So, but anything you need to know about me, again, it's at my website. If you want to look at, I mean, I do a lot. There's so many things I do, like writing music and everything. So you can pretty much learn a lot about me when you go to some of my chats, my table chats and things like this. Yeah, I'm a wise woman of the world. I'm afraid I've seen it all. There's nothing you can hide from me. I understand how this world works, and my job, I feel like, is to, especially as a parapsychologist, to help people recondition what's been programmed into people, right down to the major little matrix system, to everything that's wrong with the world, right, in society. So that is what I do. One of the things I do, it's all to do with like helping people recondition their program brains and their minds and everything, because the way people are living in society is not normal, and most people don't understand or know because it's the way they've been conditioned, mind controlled and brainwashed and everything. So, and I just trying to find a way to help people, ease people into, snapping out of it, right? Unplugging yourself from the matrix system, seeing the reality of life for what it really is, and understanding what's programmed people and what's pretty much brainwashing you right through entertainment and everything. So it's a hard task, but people will wake up in their own time. People will have to wake up at some point, but it can't be forced. I mean, I can't force people to sort of wake up, and it's not my job to wake people up. It's my job to sort of be there, available to explain. It's okay, not going crazy. It's a normal part of the awakening process. And this year, we're talking about a huge collective of people, like millions, are just waking up and snapping out of this, program system. So there's a lot going on. And then when it comes to sort of mainstream everything, and then mainstream media especially, they are the enemy of the people. They are poisonous people, and they will do everything that they can to keep your mind suppressed and keep your mind programmed and everything. And they will throw distractions at you and everything. When they're focusing on one mainstream story, you look away from that and you start researching on what else is going on in the background. That's what's really going on. But it's a way to divert your minds and retention spans away from true reality of what's happening. So, and you should be more interested in what's going on there than listening to these people. Mainstream media is really bad. Find independent news outlets and things like this, and independent journalists and all that beautiful stuff. So, but that's just my sort of little stance on that too. But other than that, I will see you all again very soon.